Hello, today we're going back to my roots, to the first sample library I ever bought, and that is Albion One. We are going to be reviewing it, looking at it, and honestly, I think the big question is it still relevant today? I know back then we didn't have much choice when it came to having an all-encompassing product that you could run with by itself without having anything else and make a full orchestral piece. There was no BBC Symphony Orchestra. Just about everything Spitfire did was individual sections, so you could buy your strings, your brass, but then they were costing £300-400 each. And so if you wanted a full orchestra, you needed thousands of pounds. And so the answer was Albion, and Albion One was the starting place, I believe, for probably many composers who wanted to get into film and media, because it was the all-encompassing, the all-seeing eye of orchestral music, because you had 63 articulations, your full orchestra, 109 players, it had brass, woodwind, percussion, strings, only ensemble patches, bear in mind. It had a synth. It was done in Contact Player, which is free to download. Nowadays, everything's really done in a dedicated plugin, and it really was all you need to make film music, which was great. It has these beautiful epic drums, which I still use today. As I said, it really is start scoring for movies now. That's what it was aimed at. People knew with nothing. But nowadays, we have something called BBC Symphony Orchestra. I don't know if you've heard of it. I talk about it a lot, and if you've noticed, the Core, £399, is the exact same price as Albion One, and you're getting individual instruments. You're getting 344 techniques in comparison to 63 articulations. You're getting 44 instruments, but when you think about it, the individual sections as well, violin 1, violin 2, and so you're probably getting more. I know this is 109 players. I don't know how many specific players were done with BBC Symphony Orchestra, but it's probably similar, and you're getting individual instruments instead of ensemble patches, which is what you're getting here. But with Albion One, you're getting a more, I guess, broader range of things. You're getting synths, you're getting loops, you're getting effects, you're getting epic drums. It's I guess I want to say easier to create something bigger. Well, you really have to work a bit harder, but I feel the results are more rewarding and you're better off going towards this. But if you're not as familiar with the orchestra and you're just starting out, this, I guess, could be an answer. But I think today we're really going to be deciding that. So without further ado, let's jump in to Albion One. So this is what you're getting. This is Contact. As I said, it also works in Contact Player, the free version. When you open it up, you'll notice you'll have the Albion One orchestra itself, the Bruno loops, they're in the name, Darwin Percussion Ensemble. You get some great epic drums. Easter Island is so much fun to play with. I love it. You get some legacy patches in there as well, which is your cymbals, your toms, your gongs. You'll notice as well you get some extra large percussion. We also have some synth stuff, which is Stevenson's Steam Band, and then some legacy stuff, which don't overlook, because this is where some absolutely gorgeous effects, which are really hard to recreate, are right there, as well as a piano. Random place to put it. So Albion One Orchestra itself, you have the individual ensemble patches, woodwind high and low, brass high and low, strings. You have legato patches for everything, I believe. Yeah, you've got woodwind, a string legato, and a string concertino legato, as well as, of course, the brass. You do have the individual ones in there as well if you want to save on economical space on your RAM. And if we look down, I believe that's everything. So without further ado, let's jump in. So brass high is the first one. You'll notice we only have 4 articulations. Short, longs, and then short octaves and long octaves. You will notice as well, and this is actually a huge reason to get Albion over something maybe like BBC Symphony Orchestra. You'll notice you have 4 mic positions. You're not just stuck with the one mix. And so that's something interesting to look at as well. You'll notice you can add on a reverb to the right, as well as tighten things up, add expression, add dynamic, control the release, all stuff which is very useful. Round robin wise, the shorts have 4, while the core for BBC Symphony Orchestra has 5. Now I'm probably going to be comparing this a lot to the BBC Symphony Orchestra core simply because it's the exact same price, and really if you're starting out, those are the 2 products that you really are most likely going to be going for, if I'm honest, at least would be my advice. So without further ado, this is the brass shorts. Let's look at the decketry. We'll look at the individual microphones with the shorts. We won't go through it for every single one. I feel the shorts best shows off different sort of mic positions, but this is the brass shorts, at least the brass high shorts. And there you have it. You can see there's a nice dynamic range, and there's a beautiful space with the decketry. Let's quickly do that with a close. Very close. I wouldn't recommend using them on their own. I would always mix it in with the decketry if you want your brass to sound slightly closer. And then just turn that off and you'll see exactly what I mean. And then we go for our ambient mic. Outriggers, nice stereo field with these. Again, something I would mix in with the decketry, simply to give it a better stereo field. Now let's just stick on our decketry for now and go with some of these longs, only 2 round robins. And again, it's an ensemble patch. And do not forget to use your faders. If you're buying any sample library and you do not use the dynamic or expression, or if vibrato, if you have it there, you are not using the product to its fullest potential. So you have a beautiful full range there, everything from super loud to super quiet. And even then you don't really need to use the expression. You really have got this beautiful control with the dynamic fader right there. Moving on, short octaves. These are fun when you want to create something a little bit bigger. And what I love about these sort of patches is you can create this really big sound very quickly. And a lot of times with brass instruments, especially since this is an ensemble patch and you don't have individuals, within the section, you will often orchestrate things like that in octaves. And you can hear quite there really easily, really quickly, you've got this big brass sound. Again with the longs. And beautiful tail end, big, epic orchestral sound at your fingertips right there. So moving on to brass low. I'm not going to compare the different mic positions because they'll be very similar. You'll notice there's the 2 different sorts of windows. I always like being in the nitty-gritty settings bit, but you do have the beautiful easy bit right here, which you can actually control how far or close you want to sound without mixing it in yourself here. And then you've got all the other bits. They actually explain right underneath what they all do. Very friendly for a first time product as well, and quite easy to jump into and explore. So low. Beautiful, nice range, a nice gritty brass sound, which is exactly what I like to hear. And again, our longs. I love the tail end of that. You can actually add the release on a bit more. You can see how low it is on the screen there next to the dynamic. It's that really nice gritty brass sound that you want in a big epic orchestra. It sounds absolutely gorgeous. And short nasty. So this gets even more gritty. So this is the short normal. This is the short nasty. And then I believe it's long nasty as well. Which in comparison, I'm not hearing much difference. Maybe it's on the... Yeah, lower end, it's a little less grit. So that's that. Again, I believe it is 4 round robins and 2 for the longs. Yes, it is. Right, moving on to brass mid. So we do have a third brass patch. It's just short and longs, I believe. And again, 4 mic positions, 4 round robins for the shorts, 2 for the longs. Nice mid brass, big epic. Let's go for our longs. There you have it. That is the brass mid longs. So let's move now over to our strings. There's going to be a lot more articulations. At the moment, you've probably noticed it's just shorts and longs. And I guess an advantage of going for something like BBC Symphony Orchestra Core over this is the fact that you get so many different articulations. I know at the moment, with the brass, all you're getting is shorts and longs. But if you were to go for the core, you'd be getting marcatos, you'll be getting the long mutes, you'll be getting trills, you'll be getting curves, flutters, quite a wide variety of articulations instead of just your longs and your shorts. But at least now with the strings, you can see we do get a little bit more. You have your spiccatos, you have your staccatos, and spiccatos played at the same time, which is a really nice mix actually, and it really does create a bigger sound. You also have your pizzicato, you have your collegno, your standard long, concertino long, your tremolo, your short, an octave higher and lower, and well as your longs, an octave higher and lower. So that's a really nice patch to make things sound a lot bigger. So let's go through these quickly. I will compare the microphone positions as well with the first patch. If you're not familiar with your orchestra, it's a great patch because you've got the whole orchestra right there and there, well, at least the whole string orchestra right there and there. Let's go with our close mic and completely get rid of our decatry. I like the fact that you can mix in the close mic with the decatry, with the outriggers, with the ambient. A huge advantage over core, if I'm honest, because you can get a close, intimate sound or you can get a big, epic sound. See the difference in that? Just mixing in a bit of close just brings everything a little bit more forward, and to me makes it sound a lot more real. Ambient, or the ambient mic, I don't know why I say ambient. You can just hear how far that is at the back. And now we have our outriggers. I love the velocity control as well on Albion One. I don't know if it's just simply because I've had this sample library the longest and I'm the most familiar with it, but to me, it's just the lightest of touches gets this beautiful quiet sound, and just the heavy forte. Again, I don't know if it's because I started out, but I feel I prefer the velocity sensitivity of this in comparison to something like BBC Symphony Core. It just has, I want to say, more dynamic layers. It probably doesn't, but there's just the software is tuned a little bit better. That could just simply be because it's in Contact, and I really do like Contact as a sampler. It is the industry standard, and in some cases I do prefer it to Spitfire's own. Right, so that's that. Let's put back on our decatry with a little bit of close mic, because I do like it. And now look at a staccato patch. And a quick side by side. I don't know if you see much difference between the two. You can if you press Shift and then click play two at once. And that's an advantage of Contact as well. So, pizzicato. And if you don't want to be messing around with different patches that, oh, I want a low sounding pizzicato, or I want a high sounding pizzicato, it's all here. I guess that's the advantage of an ensemble patch. Carl Legno. I must admit, there's nothing quite like the Albion One Carl Legno. Especially that high end. A lot of Carl Legno patches, which rightfully so, are very quiet. Because just the way it's played, the way it's performed, it is a very quiet articulation. But Albion One has made it sound epic. And when you really press down, it's more of a Bartok pit, where you basically just ping the string. So I don't know how they've done that, but they really have made Carl Legno sound quite big and epic. Let's move on to now our longs. Let's again, don't forget to use your dynamic fader. Again, to me, the longs do sound a little MIDI, not as real, but when you really do get into the nitty-gritty, they do sound a lot better because you really do have to control that dynamic fader and let it breathe while I'm trying to play two hands and control the dynamic fader at the same time to really show off the full extent of the range as well as the dynamic fader. So let's move on to the concertino patch. You do also have vibrato, which I'm just getting a lot of memories. Albion One does have a very distinct sound, and I love it. The strings especially, I feel they have this, I don't know, characteristic that you don't really find anywhere else. Right, the tremolos. What I love doing with these, actually, if you go right at the bottom, you get that really nice dark gritty string, and so you can really create some great tension using the tremolo patch. Now these are a lot of fun. Again, something we saw similar with the brass high. You get these big epic sounds quite quickly. And long lows an octave apart. Very big sound, very easy to get that epic orchestral effect. So that is the strings. Let us move on into the woodwinds. So again, sadly, only shorts and longs. We will quickly go through the mic positions with the shorts. So this is the short decady. Close mic. Ambient mic. Outriggers. And we'll leave the decady on. So that's the shorts, the longs. And just to show off the release, if I put that on max, get a bit more of a longer sort of release. Tightness really reflects the short. It's a lot easier to notice when you're playing it yourself, so definitely something to fiddle around with if you do decide to purchase it. So longs, let's have a little bit of a play. There you have it, woodwind high longs, and then we have some short arranged and long arranged. Let's have a little play. You'll notice one note, if I play one note, you have a range of different octaves, and really what they've done here is, especially someone who's new to orchestration, what they've tried to do, especially I think with the whole product of Albion One, is create something user-friendly for somebody who's maybe not too familiar with the orchestra. And so it gives you this nice overall arrangement of how they would be traditionally played depending where you press. Now, longer range. Now moving on to Woodwinds low. We only have short and longs. I won't go over the mic positions because very similar to the last lot. Nice big epic woodwinds, and woodwinds can be hard to get sounding epic, so there is an advantage to this. Overall, I prefer the low patches or the low notes within each section. They really do come out, and they are quite gorgeous. Now you'll notice you have these cog patches as well. The only really difference with these compared to the normal ones is you can change the starting point of the sample. Really, I believe that's their purpose. You also have a combination patch as well, which is literally just different sort of combinations. So like brass and strings, you have and brass and strings trem, brass and strings lows, concertino, brass and strings octave shorts. So really easy, quick ways to create big sounds, and you've also got all the mic positions for these. And you'll notice the dynamic fader does something interesting as well. Kind of mixes between the brass and the strings for this one. And I think the purpose of these combination patches was to take things that would be traditionally done in orchestration and to give you them at your fingertips. So you don't have to come up with the orchestration, it's there. These are things that traditionally happen. These are traditional combinations and the way the dynamic fader works as well. Like for some it fades between the brass and the strings. There's just traditional ways it would be used. Brass nasty and string concertino, I believe. A nice tail end there. Strings concertino and trem. Very effective. Then we have woodwind and string trems. So lots of different trems here. Brass string collegno. Nice big sound. Woodwind, brass and string trems. Now we're getting big. Probably take your time a bit more with the dynamic fader. And woodwind, brass and string low. Oh, it's quite a rich bass there. A woodwind, brass, high short. Woodwind, brass low. Woodwind, string low, concertino. Nice. And then woodwind, string low. Nice fade between those two. And then some shorts and octaves. The octaves? No, just woodwind, string, collar. And there's the combination patches. Definitely ones to mess around with and to add on as extra details within your composition. And now, of course, you've got the individual patches as well from the big orchestral patches up there. But now we should really run into the legato patches because these are gorgeous and you really are going to need to use these. So starting with our brass legato. And you'll notice we have three different types. We have one brass low in octaves, we have the brass mid, and the brass highs in octaves. Not as versatile as something like BBC Symphony Orchestra. Those legatos, if you've seen my comparison between the Discover Core and Pro, oh my days, those legatos are versatile, and Spitfire Audio has come a long way. Brass mids. The legatos are not the best, I will admit. You do have the mic positions. Let's mix in. I'm not going to go through all the individual ones. You kind of heard it so far. You can get this nice range. Octaves on the high. And there you have it. Strings, concertino, legato. I believe you do have the different versions as well from Portamento. I believe strings low octaves, strings full at an octave, low octave, strings mid, and strings high in octaves. It's a lot of in octaves. Strings low octave. Not very loud. But there's your legato. The strings full is literally everything playing. Strings mid. You don't have vibrato control, which is a shame, especially for a legato. And then we have the string high in octave. And that's our string concertino legatos. I wonder if we have much more. I'm trying to remember now. It's been a while. With our standard string legatos. Full orchestra, so something similar. Just not concertino. Let's fly through these very quickly. Very quiet on the low end. Not as versatile as BBC Symphony Orchestra, but the legatos, they still sound good. And they're mediocre. Woodwind, legatos. I believe it's something similar with a lot of octaves. Nope, just high and lows. Okay. Might as well add a little bit of close. I love the woodwinds. And then the woodwind low. Nothing compared to BBC Symphony Orchestra, but this is quite an old product. There you have it. That's legatos. Now we've got run patches, which is simply runs. Excellent for adding just little bits to your piece to kind of make them stand out. There's different sorts of runs. They're all there. There's mic positions. I'm not going to go through them all. You know how they sound. Different ones. They sound great. They're fun to explore. So at your own leisure if you're getting this. But just letting you know, there are strings high and low. Runs, they're all there. Right then. Time machine patches, little combination. Okay, that's the orchestra itself. We're actually going to skip Bruno loops for a second and go into the big Darwin Percussion, because I absolutely love this patch and I still use it to this day. Big epic drums, and you can see beautiful colors there, and they're fun just to beat out. All you got to do is mash your keyboard then. Might not sound the best, but you can really see you've got a little bit of everything there, from big bassy sounds to your kind of lower hits. So you've got your sub hits, your lower hits, your mid hits, high sticks, lots of dynamic layers. And then your metal, almost getting Lord of the Ringsy there. And you do have your close mic, so you can make these sound intimate. Or you can make them sound epic and far in the distant. And then, of course, we heard the decatry at the beginning. So those are really fun. And where, again, we get a little bit more fun is Easter Island. These are just huge, epic cracks and smacks. So I don't know if you could hear the top green one there. Sub bass hits. Great for effect, great for finishing a piece, great for starting a piece. So huge advantage there over something like BBC Symphony Orchestra. Hypertones, basically just toms on steroids. You've got like an ensemble saw at the top, while the rest are your different types, lows, mids, highs. And we have 4 mic positions with these. You've got your outriggers as well, mixing a little bit of close. Let's do a little mix. And then just to show how close you can actually get them, you still have a bit of room with that, but very much in your ears there. And finally, the extra large percussion, which is just a range of, as you can see there on the screen, just big stuff. And you have different mixes as well, close 1 and close 2. I wonder what the difference is. Let's find out. That's close 2. It's more central, close 1, while close 2. Pan to the left. Nice room. It's a bit hissy. Well, there you go. You got a bit more choice there with the mic positions. Of course, some legacy patches as well. So if you want some cymbal crashes, you have those as well. And some different effects as well there at the top. And we do have the range of mic positions. Very nice in your ear. Beautiful stereo effect there, actually. Nice tail end there. And then we've got cymbals 2 as well. And then we've got tams and gongs. And you do have mic positions with those as well. And finally, swells, even though we have noticed we do have some swells there amongst those. So low swells, mid swells, high swells, and all swells. I don't know why they just didn't do an all swell patch. And then different mic positions for those as well. So don't forget to explore and see what there actually is that comes. And there are specifically stereo mixes as well for a lot of those. So if you don't want to create your own mix, you can count on Spitfire Audio there to have your back and give you a mix that they like themselves. Let's look now at the Bruno loops. So there's a lot here, and I'm not going to go through them all. I'm just going to look at maybe one or two. You get this, I guess, quite complicated looking patch. It's not that complicated, if I'm honest. Always look at what the dynamic fader does, because it always does something interesting. You don't have to know what's on the screen. Just hit a note and then just move the fader. Bruno loops. And they all do something weird and wacky, and you're noticing we are veering very much away from orchestral stuff. So something to literally go through and play with. Let's go somewhere else and just drag something in. And you'll notice there's different rhythms depending where you play on the keyboard. And let's go for one other. Let's go for warped. Just dragging random stuff in. As you can see, lots of interesting stuff there. Let's go for one more, the Wiggy Dub. What's actually really fun is to look at the titles. Some of them are not PG, but they really did have fun naming these patches. Shortwave shaker, scratchy challenge. Just look at them. They're just Hell's Bells, Electro Synth, Drive On. Yeah, there's a lot of just wacky names in there, and you've got to be careful because some of them are not PG. So that's the loops. They quite literally are loops. I don't know what, not much more to say about them. Stevenson's Steam Band is where we get into kind of the synthy ambient stuff. And yeah, crazy synth textures. This is more ambient. Whistling Creatures. You can see there the mod wheel fades between. You can see there's two samples: Tundra on the left, Tropical Rainforest on the right, and my fader fades between the two, I believe. Textured softness. As you've probably noticed, you really do get a nice extreme of different sorts of sounds, and when you layer this underneath your orchestra, you can get some really interesting and creative pieces. Go for one more. And so that is Stevenson's Steam Band. Lots to play with, literally hundreds of different patches to really look at. You really are getting a bang for your buck with the variety of stuff you're getting. Now the legacy is not to be overlooked. There are some different sounds, there are some different string sounds, and there is a piano, which is random, if I'm honest. Shorts, a short mute, more shorts with a ring, and then some effects, and you do have mic positions as well. But no normal piano. It's a lot of weird stuff. Ooh. For your horror soundtrack. But no normal piano. Was it that difficult to create a normal piano with this as well? Let's have a quick look. This is where you do have separation with the strings as well. Strings low and strings high. Another reason worth checking. See short ostinatum. And it definitely has a different sound to the other strings, as well as spit ostinatum. As well as you do have all the mic positions with this as well. And I really do like those longs there, concertino, and here are the fun bits, the effects. And especially if I mix in a close mic there, you get this really intimate, horrific, scratchy sound. And very consistent throughout each patch. You do have effects, shorts, a variety of different things. So do not forget to go to the legacy patch if you do get this. It is very worth it to explore. I know sometimes I can get stuck in just, oh, this is what I need, and not explore the beauty. A lot of the stuff is not bread and butter, but when you finished your piece, it's nice to go into some of these things and add little details, because it's those things that make all the difference to your piece. So I'll leave the rest a mystery there. I think we've covered enough. We're reaching about an hour, and that's probably gonna, and it's probably best that we leave it there. I think we've given a good overview, a little bit of everything, especially right at the end. We did cover the Albion Orchestra in detail because that's your bread and butter. That's the bits you're going to be using a lot. The Stevenson band, as you could probably see, there's a lot of unpredictable stuff there, so a lot of fun to really go in and mess around. The percussion are big and epic, and this is overall a really fun product, and especially in comparison to BBC Symphony Core, that's more of just your orchestra. That's all there is. You've got all your individual instruments. You don't have that huge epic percussion. You do have some percussion, but you can't really get, I would say, the same as you can with Albion One. And you don't have the loops, you don't have the synthesizers, so generally you're confined to this orchestra with the BBC Symphony Orchestra, while with Albion One you're getting this good overview and you can quite quickly make big epic pieces. And so let's leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.